Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 27th of July. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, the euro's continued its shove even overnight here. It's actually done more overnight than it did on looks like most days last week in terms of movement. So quite a strong movement, further softening into the R3. Where to today? You see, breathes a sigh. Well, after it's done mornings like this, you do wonder. It's, let's say, looking strong at the moment from a lot of perspective. I'm just looking at the possible bit of divergence, likely potential on the 60-minute run back. It's into its monthly R3 already, into the daily above our daily R2 areas. On here, I'm not too sure that's absolutely correct, but at the moment it's just as I say, just seeing dollar softness. Whether this continues, we'll see. I need a decent retrace to be buying into it. I do not want to just sort of charge into where it is at the moment. It's just too tight and into some significant resistance, so need to wait patiently on this. On the sell side, well, there are potential points. I mean, it could pull back towards its daily pivot, maybe a break of that 60-minute 8, but my preference would be to, as I said, be patient and wait for the retracements and be on the long side. We do have some key news this week, particularly Wednesday. We've got the FOMC statements, and there are expected that maybe some measures will be taken there, but whether that will actually bolster the US dollar is another matter. Today we've got very little in the way of fundamental data or risk coming out, so left to the technical devices. So let's come back, look at the pound on the same basis. Again, pushing through solid, managed to close up on Friday beyond its that daily 500 I've been talking about quite a bit lately because it's been in the way. It's now above that. That becomes an area of support if we see price pulling back. Coming down the time frames here, then there's some divergence over the high here, but looking at it individually, actually the different highs, it probably actually worked its way off. In fact, this last part is actually broken, so still pushing its way up on that basis. Coming down further, well, again it's running, this is actually running to resistance into its daily R2. Maybe a slightly softer pound there at the moment. The euro's pushed up. Again, daily pivots seem to be sort of logical areas if it was to start rolling over, but it almost seems like a bit of a trick, but we'll see how it runs. I'm just looking at different short time frames. Actually, I just showed the 30 minutes, so I was just watching this. It's just a bit of softness just showing on that 30-minute time frame, just coming back in, but preference really is to buy on the retracements, but there may be opportunities here to sort of sell back to almost the 30-50 or as I say, the daily pivot. Cable just looks that tad softer. Okay, dollar yen. Look at the dollar yen. The yen's continued the strength there from on a daily perspective. Again, it's already broken beyond the monthly S1 now, which is fine. It's fine with that. Probably a bit of RSI divergence is there, just a bit of RSI divergence sitting there. A bigger time frame MACD settings I've got here, no divergence at all, so a bit of conflict over those two, and a bit of divergence off the 60-minute MACD there on the yen as well. What changed my mind on this? Well, it needs to get back above that 60-minute 8 to do anything possible. It may only just get back to that 60.21. If it does, it'll be the first test of it. If it gets back there, that may actually give another opportunity on the sell side, but for now, patience needed. So it really is a patience game this morning as we sit and watch these markets that have pushed through the Asian session strongly. Looking at the Aussie dollar, no exception here either. It has had a push up, not quite as strong as I say, no exception, and then immediately here's the exception. It hasn't managed to make a new high here relative to the euro, the pound. The yen making a new low. Maybe just that bit softer overall, but still having a decent move there. Looking at the owl is here, it's already hit daily pivot, it's sort of ticked off some of the boxes, ticked the boxes that I'd be normally looking for. In fact, I'm looking at the Aussie dollar and just thinking, well, maybe if this was to break this sort of level here, maybe it's got further downside, but it's a long way down there. It's got a weekly pivot as a target there at 70.87, so around about this sort of area would have a target, but we'll see how that works out this morning. But does anything I can see there of potential weakness. Canadian dollar, again, strength we're seeing here. This has got this daily 500, a bit like the pound had its 500. This hasn't got through it yet. Doesn't mean to say it's particularly weak, but it's just taking its time, and it's a bit like the Aussie in terms it hasn't broken the Fridays or Thursdays lows here. Maybe it's got some potential as we push through the morning. Already through a daily pivot into the S1 here. With the pivots being so pinched, maybe it's got a chance of breaking down that bit further down towards those lows at about 133.55 ish. Yeah, that's the potential, I guess. At some point, I don't really like trading it intraday. The Canadian dollar, it's particularly in the morning, so it can go quite choppy and just chew us up really, so I tend to leave it alone, but it's almost got the better shape there in some respects. Looking at oil's is a bit flatter here, consolidated on the 4 hourly, and well consolidated here on the 60-minute as well. Maybe a breakdown of this trend line that's running across the lows. I haven't drawn it on, but that sort of area might see it come down towards the 40.73, maybe even further. If it can break the upside there, well, potential back towards its R1 at 41.70, maybe even towards these other bodies around the 42 area. So potential there, but at the moment just consolidating. Best left until later in the day, really 2 o'clock, in my experience here with that. Looking at the S&Ps then, S&Ps Thursday, Friday came off. Today we're just sort of not really seeing too much movement at all relative to the open. Little shove down this Sunday evening, but just moved back a little. Whatever it's gained there, it's really giving back at the moment here, and looking maybe soft with lower highs through there. So S&Ps really, a few equities here do look like they might have more downside. That could all change come Wednesday, but for now that's how it looks. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.